Hello and welcome to day 21 of OctHorrorFest. And today we're watching Quarantine, which is the US remake of Wreck. So I hadn't seen Quarantine before, but I thought I'd best give it a shot because I love Wreck so much, as you could tell from my last video. So first of all, I have in my notes, literally the first thing I wrote was, I'm so mad at this film and I'm only 2 minutes in. And it didn't really get any better from there. I will give the film some credit because if I hadn't seen Wreck, I think I probably would have enjoyed it more. But the fact that it is just a complete imitation of an already great film just bothers me a little bit. But it's not that they completely carbon copy it, it's that they do things that are different that make it worse, which is just really frustrating. The biggest thing that really got me was the camera quality. And I know this sounds really silly, but when you're doing a found footage film, I honestly think having a studio quality camera just doesn't work. You know, it didn't look like it was a news reporter's camera, if you know what I mean. Like, it was very movie. So this immediately took me out of the idea that it was a found footage. The authenticity just wasn't there, and it's just like, just try harder. It's not that difficult, really. It's probably cheaper to get a less quality camera, isn't it? I don't know. And this is one of the biggest issues that I have, is the fakeness of it all. There are so many moments when you can tell that they're trying to make it feel like a found footage film and it just isn't working. And they're trying to do something different to Wreck and it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. The first thing, they stay way too long in the fire station, kind of trying to build up the characters and trying to make you feel for them and trying to kind of build a relationship between the characters and with the audience, and it just feels so fake. Like, there are elements that they take from Wreck and just kind of ruin them. There's a bit in Wreck where they're breaking the door open of the old lady's apartment and it makes Angela jump. I mean, it didn't really make me jump because it wasn't a loud noise for me, but in Quarantine, for some reason, they amp up the sound of the door crashing open, make it sound not really like a door. Angela then jumps and screams, which then made me jump, and I was just like, why? The door just opened. And they made it so much more kind of jumpy for no reason. It just felt really stupid. I feel like I'm being really harsh, so I'm sorry. And again, there are so many moments where they try and make it scary, but it doesn't work. Like when they go into the apartment with the old lady, they linger on her way too long to the point where it feels not realistic. And I know that sounds really silly when I'm talking about a film about zombies, but in Wreck, the old lady from the get-go is just, she seems off. She's a bit kind of animalistic. And yeah, she doesn't attack immediately, but the points that she doesn't attack, she is acting strange. Whereas in Quarantine, yeah, she's acting strange, but there's almost a moment where they're trying to kind of make her look like she's just a sweet old lady, as if her infected self is trying to trick them, and I just do not buy it. It just does not work. They linger way too long, and I get they're trying to do something different from Wreck, but if you're gonna do something different, make it good or try and make it better. But in this case, it just failed for me. And all the shots just seem way too kind of set up. There are moments when they're trying to imitate Wreck and just it doesn't work. There are so many moments that attempt to add more scariness to it and kind of more shock value, and again they just seem stupid. There's this whole bit where there's a infected rat and the cameraman like stamps on it and it's like lingers on this bloody smushed rat. I'm just sat there like, why did you put that in? Like, it is just pointless shock value. As well as the rat bit, there's a moment where again the cameraman is set upon by one of the zombies. He essentially beats this zombie to death with the camera lens, and I kind of get what they were going for, but I hated it. And again, it's this adding of shock value that just was not necessary. What I love about Wreck so much is the tension that it builds and the kind of classic horror techniques that it uses to create that creepiness and that fear. And yeah, it has certain shocking moments, but it just worked, and these do not work because it's just too much. It is just so over-exaggerated and I really hated it. And to be honest, I actually just got so bored. I was just sitting there like, I want to watch Rec. All I want to do is watch Rec. Again, I have in my notes, the biggest thing I had running in my head watching this was I want to be watching Rec. Please let me watch Rec. For the love of God, let me watch Rec. And again, the end scene, which I love so much in Rec, again, they tried to do something different and it just didn't work, like a lot of this film didn't. And there's a moment in Rec where an attic door flops down, and the cameraman essentially puts the camera up into the attic to see what's going on. And in Rec, I literally cannot